So I don't need. I don't know. First, I'm going to try and speak English. I don't know who needs to hear what I'm about to say, and maybe nobody does. But I'm going to say it anyway. It's obviously been a pretty rough year in law enforcement. Last year was a rough year too. That said, year to date, we've lost a total of 67 officers in the line of duty. 28 of those have been due to gunfire. Um, for those of you that are working for agencies where you've lost somebody, or in some cases a couple of somebodies, I've been there. And it's not something that you easily deal with, obviously. But you need to know some things. And you need to kind of prepare yourself, those of you that haven't dealt with this before. You're going to run through a crazy, crazy range of emotions. And you're going to be angry, and you're going to be sad, and you're going to feel guilty. And all of those things are perfectly normal. For me, it was just absolute mind-numbing blind rage for days. And then it was sadness, just almost undefinable sadness. And the toughest part for me was the guilt part, was the part where I asked myself, and still to this day, what could I have done better? Could I have gotten there quicker? Could I have taught him better? Could I have been closer? Could I have driven my car faster? I mean, just all of these questions, and you feel this, I guess, survivor's guilt, right? You know, it should have been me. This kid was young, or this guy just had babies, or you know, was getting ready to retire. I mean, you feel this overwhelming sense of what could I have done better? How could I have prevented this? Or why wasn't it me instead of them? And that for me was the toughest part to get over. And I'll be honest, I'm still not 100% over it. It still makes me mad to this day. But what I did, and I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you how to grieve. I can't tell you how to do anything, because everybody's different. But for me, getting up the next day and putting that uniform back on and getting back in that patrol car and going out to do the job was therapeutic. It was what I needed. I needed to focus on the job, and I needed to focus on the community that I served, and I needed to be busy. And I was. But remember, no matter how bad it gets, how bad you feel, how angry you get, how guilty you are, or how guilty you feel, you got to keep going. And you know what? I'll tell you, we lost some people. You know, some people decided, oh shit, you know, this is real. This is real life and real death. And they left. And I don't begrudge them that. I don't blame them a bit. I mean, this sometimes it takes something like that for reality to set in, you know? Sometimes you have to experience something like that for you to understand what the job is really about. And in many cases, it's really about life or death. But understanding that you get up the next day or the next night and you get to go back and do it all over again, Maybe you get to prevent something like that from happening to somebody else. And going into it with the understanding that whoever you lost, that officer, that deputy, that trooper, that agent, they died in place of someone else. In other words, somebody that day in that place at that time was going to go. But that officer stood there in that place at that time, in that moment, on that day, and went so somebody else didn't have to. When you hear people talk about the ultimate sacrifice, that's exactly what it is. So the death, the loss, you should never feel like it's in vain, that it's pointless or meaningless, because it isn't. It's neither of those things. It meant something, because that person, that officer, that deputy, that trooper, that agent, that person meant something. They meant something to you, to their family, to their community. So I know you're feeling probably kind of shitty right now. And I'm not going to tell you not to feel shitty, because it is what it is. But lose yourself in your work. Lose yourself in your family. Talk to the people that understand. Maybe that'll help you. But don't let it break you. That shield that we wear, that shield isn't a shield for us to hide behind when we go to work. It's not a shield that's meant to protect us from the evils of the world or from the weapons. That shield that we put on is symbolic. It's a beacon for our community, for society to know that we are the shield for them to stand behind when things get bad. Take that with you. Be that shield. It wasn't much, man, but I hope somebody needed to hear that. You're all good people. You're good men and women, and you're doing good work. And don't let anybody tell you any different. And don't mourn the loss. Celebrate the time that you got to be with them. You guys be safe.